So this is what happens when you Instagram when slightly tipsy. Things just seem like a really good idea.
Armie Hammer was, at one point, a classically handsome movie star who made AAA films that led him to fame beyond his famous dynasty of a family. But all of that changed when he was slammed hard with allegations of physical harm against his partners and the impulse to want to eat other people. He got slammed with allegations of being obsessed with non-consensual intimacy. Since then, he has retreated from the public eye, and the Los Angeles Police Department has an active investigation against him. As he just left rehab recently, a documentary has been announced that is set to expose not only him, but his entire family as well for their crimes that have gone completely unchecked for so long. Today we're covering Armie Hammer. Tomorrow though, you decide. Let us know in the comments down below who you think we should cover on the next episodes of Where Are They Now. While you're down there, be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it so we know to keep making more just like it. Now, let's get into it. Armie Hammer was born into the dynasty that was his father's several businesses, including Knoedler Publishing and Armand Hammer Productions. His grandfather was an oil tycoon, and they had been extremely high class for generations before that. Armie himself grew up in Texas before his family moved around a bit and then settled in Los Angeles. He dropped out of high school though in the 11th grade to fully pursue an acting career. His parents, for their part, decided to disown him when he left school, and they admonished his decision to become a full-time actor, but they have since come around to being supportive and proud of his work. Hammer began acting with small guest appearances in Arrested Development, Veronica Mars, Gossip Girl, and Desperate Housewives. His first venture into film came with a minor role in a horse movie called Flicka. His first leading role came with his portrayal of a Christian evangelicist named Billy Graham in the movie Billy: The Early Years. In 2007, Armie Hammer was hand-selected by George Miller to star in the planned superhero movie called Justice League Mortal. He was going to star as Batman before the film eventually got cancelled. The film's cancellation happened in large part due to the looming 2008 Writers Guild of America strike. It wasn't until 2010, however, that Armie received his first breakout role in the movie The Social Network, about the creation of Facebook. He portrayed the identical twins Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss. This movie earned Armie his first critical success, where Time magazine remarked that his portrayal of the twins was, quote, astonishing. He also won the Toronto Film Critics Association Award for Best Supporting Actor. In 2013, he was cast beside Johnny Depp in the Disney movie The Lone Ranger. In 2017, Armie filmed perhaps his most known role as Oliver in the Sony Pictures movie called Call Me By Your Name, opposite Timothée Chalamet. For his stellar performance, he received the Critics' Choice Award, Independent Spirit Award, and a Golden Globe. As for his personal life, well, that's where things start to get a little rocky. In May 2010, Armie married a television personality named Elizabeth Chambers. She has a cooking show on the Food Network and works for Today. The pair were first introduced by Armie's friend and eventually went on to have 2 children together. But after 10 years of marriage in 2020, Armie and Elizabeth announced their separation via Instagram. This announcement was about 7 months before all hell broke loose for Armie. Apparently, the reason behind this divorce was past infidelity on Armie's part, but also when they were all staying home in late 2020, the actor decided that he couldn't stand it any longer and just kind of abandoned the family where they were staying in the Cayman Islands. It became the last straw for Elizabeth. By January 1st, 2021, Armie became involved in several short-term flings. At one point, he had tweeted, quote, "2021 is going to kneel down before me and kiss my feet because this year I'm the boss." Several weeks later, however, Armie found himself in a very dark crisis. Amid the turmoil of divorce proceedings, several women took to social media to accuse the actor of emotional harm, manipulation, and violence. The scandal ballooned as screen grabs circulated that seemed to show the actor describing explicit fantasies involving non-consensual intimacy and cannibalism. It happened after 2 of his victims created an Instagram account to share all of the gruesome details of what Armie wanted to do to them. They also shared photos of bruises and bite marks they had sustained from the actor. One of the unnamed people behind the account says that she had an affair with Hammer for 4 years, and that she found 5 other women who all say that they were involved with the actor. The account creator says she and Hammer had been talking since 2016 while he was still married to Elizabeth Chambers. Many other women then started to come forward with their own claims about dealing with the actor, and in some conversations that were shared, he reportedly tells them he wants to, quote, bite pieces off of them, and told one woman he wanted to eat her heart. Since the DM scandal broke, Hammer stepped away from the upcoming rom-com Shotgun Wedding, which he was set to star in alongside Jennifer Lopez. He released a statement addressing the reason why he was no longer working on the film. Quote, "I'm not responding to these claims, but in light of the vicious and spurious online attacks against me, I cannot in good conscience now leave my children for 4 months to shoot a film in the Dominican Republic. Lionsgate is supporting me in this and I'm grateful to them for that. A representative with Lionsgate said, quote, "He has requested to step away from the film and we support him in this decision," which is kind of a non-way of saying we support you in quitting. But then the cops got involved. The Grand Cayman police spoke to the actor about inappropriate footage that had been circulating of a woman on his private Instagram account where he shows her naked in bed while he complains about his ex-wife and having to see his kids. The Royal Cayman Island Police Service took to Twitter on January 20th to share a news update. Quote, "On January 15th, 2021, the RCIPS received an allegation of misuse of ICT in relation to a suggestive video which has been posted on social media. Officers investigated the matter and spoke to the suspect, who has been warned about his conduct in accordance with the wishes of the compliant. The matter is now closed." It has, however, been revealed that the case isn't fully closed. While in the Cayman Islands they had finished their investigation, the Los Angeles Police Department has not. They have an active file currently open pertaining to non-consensual intimacy and violence against the actor, and the whole thing is currently still ongoing. One woman in particular is at the front of it all, named Effie. Although she is kept anonymous for her own safety, she's pursuing Armie Hammer for what he allegedly did to her. His attorney, however, continues to outright deny any wrongdoing. Quote, "From day one, Mr. Hammer has maintained that all of his interactions with Effie, and every other partner of his for that matter, has been completely consensual, discussed, and agreed upon in advance, and mutually participatory." In the months after the scandal, Armie fell into substance use and became entirely dependent on alcohol, physical intimacy, and other harder substances. It got to the point where he had to admit himself into a rehabilitative service. And now it brings us to the last we've seen of Armie Hammer as he left rehab in February of this year. After 2 months in the facility, Armie left and moved back to the Cayman Islands to stay with his ex-wife and children, where he claims to be working on his sobriety and staying committed to it. Quote, "Armie is very committed to his sobriety and has been super consistent with it. His main priority is staying sober and being there for his kids and Elizabeth. But don't take that to mean he and his ex are reconciling. Quote, they're not back together, but they're co-parenting. He's really just trying to be there for his kids. He has a solid support system with his friends, and Elizabeth has also been very supportive along the way. As of right now, he's not working on any movies, obviously, since the allegations came forward, although an old movie of his was released in 2021 that was filmed back in 2019. And now, a documentary special about Armie Hammer and the rest of his crime-ridden family is in the works. ID and Discovery Plus have a documentary special lined up that details Hammer's controversy and that it is something that runs in the family. Variety reported that House of Hammer, the working title for the doc, looks at different scandals that plague 5 generations of the Hammer family. Armie's the scion of the Hammer dynasty, with deep ties to businesses and foundations in New York and Los Angeles. His grandfather, oil tycoon Armand Hammer, ran Occidental Petroleum and had close relations with Russia, the Middle East, and the British royal family. So there's a bevy of arenas this documentary could potentially explore. So far, there's no release date, but we'll definitely keep our eyes peeled. So, how do you feel about Armie Hammer? Let us know in the comments down below. I also just want to say a quick goodbye to you all, as this is my last day of filming. I'm sure they'll pop some other videos I've made down the channel, but this is my last video for the Most Amazing Network. It's been an absolute pleasure, but I'm so excited to be moving into working on furthering my education. Thank you so much for everything. It's been a pleasure. Bye, everyone.